Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check the limited weapon and supporter for Spinel. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Now, I rolled for this weapon and supporter, but I gotta say I got mixed feelings about the supporter. But the weapon it's okay-ish. So let's start with the weapon. So I was fortunate enough to max this out with enchantment. I mean, getting the weapon you saw that it was rough. So let's see what it does. It says after using Boulder Quake, which is the all green skill, the speed of the next Crystal Shard Burst, which is the triple color skill, used within 10 seconds increases by 60% and damage is increased by 20%. So the damage is fixed while the speed is going to be dependent on the S level. After using Crystal Shard Burst, the critical chance of Boulder Quake is increased by 70%. I don't know if Grimoire is going to change this, because this second part doesn't say the duration. But it's not permanent. I already tested this, and I'm going to show it to you in a moment. So the duration is limited. This is the first weapon, as I mentioned previously on the past video, that uses two skills. Usually for these weapons, look, this is going to enhance light of explosion. Which other one? This one enhances chain vault. This one enhances shadowless kick. So usually weapons would only enhance one specific attack. Limited weapon only has one specific attack and have other added benefits. In some rare cases, we have good weapons that give you an enhance to that attack, but also a damage increase to a skill. This one gives a damage increase. This one, the active is generic good, while this one, Phantom Summoning, it works for all the colors if I'm not mistaken. And also Oboros. Oops, sorry about that. Oboro. Where are you, Oboro? Here. This one also enhances Bloodstorm, but it gives you a damage increase on all skills. So this is the first of its kind that incentivizes to use a specific combo, which I don't like that much because it is a pure color skill. Well, two pure color skills. Obviously, having a pure color skill enhance is normal. Most of the other skills are pure color, but Crystal Shard being triple color means that you only want to go green on this one. If not, you're only going to use Boulder Quake and another skill. I mean, you're gonna be using Boulder Quake, but not to its fullest potential. I don't know how to feel about it. It really forces you to use green. You can use it on mixed, yes, but you get nothing. If you do that, you get nothing because you don't want to use Boulder Quake on a mixed build. So yeah, you're forced to use full green if you want to take advantage, unless you're willing to give up the effect of Boulder Quake, the set effect of Boulder Quake. But I don't think you want to. And the good thing, this increases the critical rate of Boulder Quake. Crystal Shard. I keep saying Boulder Quake, but I meant Crystal Shard the whole time. Crystal Shard is the one that requires 3 of the same color, whichever color it is, and Boulder Quake is the all green. Boulder Quake is going to increase critical damage. That's super good. Let's see here. Look. Boulder Quake is going to increase your critical damage by 250. So getting critical rate increase, it's amazing. And crystal share, as you can see here, it requires 3 of the same color. So you're going to be forced, as I said, to use either green or green. Or, of course, green. There's also the option of green. So, yeah, that's something that I didn't like. Especially because this skill, they use the weapon to fix this skill, which was pretty bad. I mean, really bad, because of how long it takes. And now it's still, it has the wind up, but it isn't as bad as it used to. So let me show you. First thing we're gonna do before we start checking the supporter is that we're gonna test this. So I'm gonna use no supporters, I think. Let's see, do I have any? I do have supporters. I'm gonna remove the supporters. No, I don't have supporters, so that's perfect. I'm not going to use supporters because I don't want to use skills that increase my damage. I just want to use Boulder Quake and Crystal Shard to see the average speed. Technically, I should put one green. Yeah, I'll put one green because we're gonna always take into consideration that speed increase. So, whatever supporter green. This one, okay. So, no, not there. I cannot see with the mic. Here, in skills, yes. So, how does this look? What are the commands? If I'm not mistaken, it's hold and hold. So, that's the speed using the combo. And as you can see, my critical rate is disappearing. It's not permanent. So, I do this, then I charge and I do this, and let's see. Yeah, fortunately it lasts long enough for you to use it with the before the cooldown, before the buff removes itself. You have enough time to wait for the cooldown. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And now I'm gonna change it, this button. So let's test that one more time so that you can see this is the normal speed. It's horrible. But if I do it this way, yeah, it's super slow. In comparison, it's just way better. It makes the skill viable. Though it is not my favorite effect. The area increase. Let's see. What does it says that it do? It says crystal burst. Increase rock size by 50%. Yeah, it's not my favorite. These two are way stronger. Which is a shame. I mean, green is strong in itself, but giving this buff, this speed buff here, I don't know. I don't think it needed it on green. It needed it on blue or red. And you're not going to be using Boulder Quake. Well, maybe you are using Boulder Quake on a mixed build, but well, it is what it is. It is strange. If you like playing on green with the Spinel, the limited supporter and weapon are pretty good. Now let's talk about that supporter, okay? So, the supporter. It says, Red Riding Hood Spinel. Leader Idol. For each buff applied, increase speed by 6%. So, this requires you to have buffs, and Spinel buffs herself pretty well, so it's no problem. And the weapon, as you saw, gives buffs. That's good, that's good. Reduces damage from human type enemies by 14%. That's bad. 14% is a low number. This should have been the extra passive, not the main passive. The extra passive says increases damage dealt to all enemies by 24%. Yeah. The problem with this is that you want to use it on the main slot. No debate. Because the damage increase is that worth it. While the damage reduction for humans is not something great. So if they just change this supporter would be way better and it would be a generic good supporter. But due to the Gremory changing, well, putting the effects like they are, it's niche. It's just very niche. Then it says, Fire Crystal fragments forward, dealing damage, making the enemy groggy, and reduces damage taken from all enemies by 10% for 10 seconds. So yeah, reduces damage taken. I think this is as a buff for yourself, if I'm not mistaken, which is good. So, we're gonna test it. We're gonna test the set. And you're gonna see that it is strong, yes, for Spinel Green. But if you don't like playing Spinel Green, I do not recommend that you get this supporter and weapon. The weapon is not as generic good as other character sets weapons, limited character sets weapons, and the supporter is just okay. Before I forget, it is not good and I do not recommend that you get it, but that statement is taking into consideration what we have in the game right now. If we get more characters with leader skills that buff the whole party, this supporter is going to increase its effectiveness. So keep that in mind. At the moment of recording, it is not that good, but it's very likely that it will increase its effectiveness soon enough. So yeah, that's a thing. And another problem with this supporter is that you would like supporters that gives you buffs, but you cannot put it on the sub slot or because you're going to give up 24% attack and you don't want to give that attack. So the only supporter that I could think of that gave a buff in the passive was actually Heviko. The fact that she alternates between the damage increase and damage reduction is going to help out with Spinel's passive. But she's limited, and that's a problem. And some people were not happy about these effects and thought it was pretty bad. So many people didn't get it. So yeah. We can also use Lapis in mixed builds to increase the speed of Demon type characters. That's another option. We can use Sora for assist type supporters. So as you can see, the problem is that all my suggestions are limited to begin with. And number two, other than Heviko, I don't remember any other character that gives speed. No, that gives a buff in the passive. So, well, maybe you can enlighten me and tell me if there's someone else. Let's see the build that I did here. Boulder Quake and Crystal Burst, Shard Burst, no doubt. And I'm going to use Explosive Rampage because it gives me 20% of speed increase in 5 seconds. You can also use Piercing Thirst if you want to use... if you have the Force Sloth. And you can also give up this one, Crystal Shard Burst, in favor of Demonic Arm Swing. But you're not going to be using the weapon effectively. It's just for the supporter. So, my Magatamas are Fire Magatamas. And I'm going to be using them for the most part because I'm going to use Heviko a lot. So I want to take advantage of her poison. That's why I want to debuff the enemy. So yeah, the weapon is 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, plus 15, plus 13, whatever Magatama. So let's check what we can do here. It's gonna be fast. And I mean very fast. So we start doing this, and then we do this. That's not the order, but it worked. So double dash, then hold evade, then hold attack, and you see that she becomes insanely fast? That's what she naturally already did, but it really helps out with Crystal Shard Burst. Though the green effect I don't like. Okay, and come on, the last one. There. Nice. There you go. So yeah, it is super easy to become insanely fast with the Spinel because she has the leader skill. And that allows her to become even faster with her supporter, naturally. On top of that, we have the buff from Bulls, what's the name of the skill? Explosive Rampage, yeah. And then we have another buff on Boulder Quake. So that's why Crystal Shard Burst, on top of having a ton of HP, of speed on the weapon, is gonna get a ton of speed because of the supporter and the 30% speed increase of these two skills. So it's 100% more speed, and also, let's see, the leader skill, 2 speed buffs, and an extra speed buff. I don't know, maybe 18%, 118% faster. That skill is something like that. So yeah, it really helps with the problem of that skill, but I don't think that the downside is that you cannot use it on blue or red. They should have fixed that skill instead of adding this double synergy here. They should have added a double synergy with another skill, like, let's say, which one? Spinning Slicer. I don't like Spinning Slicer because you have to finish the combo, but Spinning Slicer would have been a good one. Or with Piercing Thirst, even Explosive Rampage. I would have preferred to have a synergy with this weapon, with these skills, rather than this one. And this, they needed to buff the speed naturally so that blue and red can be used effectively. I mean, they already are pretty good, but they will be even better. So yeah. But that's not gonna happen now that they already implemented this weapon. So let's see. Other than that, yeah, we have more. I don't think I have another build for Spinel. No, I don't have another build for Spinel. But we do have a bunch of characters that use that are going to be using this supporter. Starting with Lina. Lina is one of the strongest ones. And we're going to start here with pure... Oh my god. I'm going to start with, not Lina, with Asagi. Asagi, here she is. Why Asagi? Because she has the weapon. Nope. 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 No. I didn't save it! Ah! Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to equip this. Unequip this and... let's see. It's gonna be red, 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 and red. All fire. Whatever. And now I'm gonna be using obviously Spinel. Where are you, Spinel? I'm also going to be using Hebico because of the buff. And I'm also going to be using Noah because she also increases speed. And I'm going to be using the butterfly weapon because it also increases speed. And I'm going to be using Munika to get a buff. And Kojinka to increase my speed. I would prefer to get something different than Kojinka that give me a buff. But I don't have anything that give me a buff. So yeah. There are no options. I'll have to use Kojinka, Munika, and Taimanin art. The weapon is 5 out of 5 plus 14. This is not an enchanted, 4 out of 5. So yeah, it's gonna be strong even so. But its peak is when Kojinka is active. So first I'm gonna wait for the opponent to attack, then I double dash and I start destroying them super quickly. Another good thing about using this character is that she has a butterfly weapon, and the butterfly weapons naturally give a buff to critical damage, so that increases my speed with the Spinel. So all the characters which have butterfly weapons are gonna be better with the Spinel. So I hope that they give us more butterfly weapons in the future, and I mean more varieties also, not just the weapons that we already have. So here I have to focus on Yuki super quickly. First I wait and then double dash and focus her, focus her. There. Come on, come on, come on. There. Already Yuki's dead, and as you can see, it is pretty easy just to abuse this. Because of the speed I'm shredding super armor, and thanks to Kojinka, I'm able to position myself properly and just destroy the enemy. So yeah, Asagi is a strong pick for this. Definitely a good option if you want to use her. But, as you're gonna see with all the builds, these are extremely limited, and that's not good. I had to change the weapon. That's why I loaded that, so I can put this. Lina has two builds. First, pure green. As you can see, I'm using Heaviko and Suruga. Suruga just to increase damage. And I'll be using Storm Drive, and Cherry Blossom to increase to have HP recovery. But actually, I just use Storm Drive and Cherry Blossom Unorthodox Swordsmanship. So yeah, she's going to shred everything super quickly. The Magatamas are like this, but you can also use pure red. It would be better to use pure red because of the poison, but I'm not going to. It's she's just too fast to actually care about that. So I pull the enemies like this and I start just shredding them. Yeah, Lina benefits the most with this supporter. As you can see. Especially if you have the butterfly weapons. Everyone with the butterfly weapon is gonna be just busted. Also, remember to use the active as much as you can, because that is going to give you another buff. As you can see, I have damage reduction on top of my damage reduction of what's the name of Heaviko. There. I'm going to do this. So yeah, I am there fast. Yeah, but there's a strongest combination than this. The skills obviously are going to be something that increase my speed. That's why I use Storm Drive here. I could also use this one, but this gives me 10 and locks me in place. And this one gives me 20 and doesn't lock me in place. So you're gonna lose a couple seconds while you do this attack. and on the other hand, you're not going to lose that much time while doing this one. And it gathers the enemy, so it's good. The other one is going to be a mixture of green and blue. Obviously, Spinel has to be on the main, no questions. I'm going to be using Lilim to increase damage, and also Kana to increase damage. Here, I'm going to be using the same weapon, the same Magatamas. But for skills, I'm going to be using Banish. Even though I don't get the critical damage increase, that doesn't matter. I want the attack buff. And I'm also going to use Cherry Blossom Frenzy to get another attack buff. So the idea is that you first Cherry Blossom, then Banish, and then you do Unorthodox to just shred the enemy super quickly. But if you, in the case of a boss, when they appear, you can start with Vanish and then Frenzy. So here, I just evade, and I do this, and they're dead, you see? It's way stronger to do this. Yeah, it's better to go mix than go pure green. At least with Lina. Let's see. There. Okay. If I had positioned myself properly, I would have shred them super quickly. Because when I was testing this, I just eliminated them within a couple seconds of appearing. Yeah. Even so, you can see just how strong this is. It's amazing. But remember, this is very niche. You actually have to build actively to have buffs. And that's why it requires too many limited supporters. You can also use hair to increase your speed. You can also use Hebico and Noah. So that's 3 limited supporters that you want to pair with this one, which is pretty bad. Also, Kana is a good option. She's F2P. And not only Kana, there's also the other girl, but that's for defensive ones. What's the name of the other one? This one, Rhea. Rhea is another option, but if I'm not mistaken, you could also go with Melt. Each buff on your character increases damage. Yeah, Melt is another, it's kind of but red, so you can use her if you want. Depending on what character you're using. I did a bunch of other characters and I'm going to show you. I'm going to use right now Sue. I think I only have, one. For Sue, preferably you want to use the other weapon, the new weapon, the Double Dragon Kajiri, because this increases the speed after using a skill. So that's gonna synergize with this gameplay. And besides, Sue really likes attack speed because she cannot be interrupted thanks to the super armor. I'm gonna be using Ryurin Koku along with Shin Ryuga and Nakuryuso. So yeah, this is to deal damage and gather the enemies. Then I use the evade to gain super armor and reduce my damage. Then I attack normally, and whenever the super armor is going down, or if I need to deal more damage, I use this one. So yeah, it is pretty easy. Obviously, all red. I'm using 4 out of 5 non-enchanted and a 1 out of 5 non-enchanted. I really like the active of this one. And let's see. I'm using these two along with Ichika. Ichika to gain defense thanks to the debuffs that I'm going to apply with the Magatamas and the poison that is going to proc on that debuff. So yeah, it is gonna be pretty easy actually. When you build Sue to be super fast, it pairs well with her super armor. So I do this and I destroy them. Come on, try it. And the super armor is going to increase your attack speed, so it is okay to use it. There. Depending on what you're tackling and if you're with multiple characters, you could actually go for wind or water magatamas with your main attacker who has this supporter. Um, and also use what's the name? New Year Heavyco to gain to deal poison if you have a debuffer on your team. I love this active. I mean, it's one of the most appealing ones in my opinion. And yeah, being fast is amazing. 4 stacks of speed. Nice. What was giving me speed? No, it was not this one. I think it was the weapon, if I'm not mistaken. The weapon increases your speed by 1.8 for 7 seconds when you use a skill. Stack up to 10 times, so it can become up to a 20% speed increase. On the other hand, this one also becomes a 20%. Okay, when max out. So yeah, but you don't have to. This stacks gradually, and this immediately gives you that. It doesn't stack. So both are good for this strategy actually. I'm also going to use where are you, Astaroth? Here. At the very start. So for Astaroth I have only one. Yeah. As you can see, I'm using Heavyco, Lapis, and Spinel. Satellite Flare to get HP recovery. That's why it didn't work. No, it has to be on red. I'm using Phoenix Dive to get a buff. And you're gonna give whatever you want on the other one. Oh, reduce damage. I was supposed to use this one, Flame Haze. I don't like Flame Haze, but it's going to give me a buff, so I'll use it. Besides, I'm already going to get near the enemy. And besides, I'm super fast with this. So, Astaroth is going to have a ton of mobility. If you want to go pure range with the fireball attack, then it's not that bad. Look. I am just moving way too quick for the enemy to do anything. And I'm attacking just too fast. Yeah. It is pretty useful. Definitely one of the best options if you want to focus on those basic attacks. Come on. Oh, I cannot. There. There. One. Nice. Can I just... I am using, if I'm not mistaken, the anti-demon weapon, so I can obviously resist this, not only because of the anti-demon weapon, also the awakening skills. But usually this would have been risky. Keep that in mind. Because I'm facing 3 enemies with super armor, but Astaroth can deal with this build. She can defeat any other enemy. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if she's facing one single enemy, she's not gonna have that much problems with it. Because she's gonna be too fast and she's gonna be able to evade whatever they throw at her. So that was Astaroth. I also did Eleanor. Eleanor is super weird. So let me explain. I tried, but did I show the weapon? For Astaroth, I went for wind with this one because I like the speed increase. But I I didn't inflict poison. If I wanted to inflict poison, I could have changed this one for Serpent Blaze when using Nifrinka. That's another thing that you could have done. That I could have done. So yeah, there's options. There's options. And here, Eleanor. Eleanor, it's very different depending on what weapon you have. If you don't have this weapon, go for whatever skill you want on the third slot. But if you have the weapon, go for the red skill. So we're gonna be using this one. It's a mix, and it doesn't have any red, but we're gonna use Reflective Ray because of the effect to ensnare the enemy with the weapon. That's why. So again, we're gonna go with Wind to get more speed. We're gonna use Reflective Ray just to synergize with the weapon and get that ensnare. And we're gonna use Aqua Curtain to get a damage increase and Stampede to get another damage increase. So yeah, it's gonna be very strong, oddly enough. And we're gonna use a mixture of green and blue. Everything limited. That's why I do not recommend this supporter. The moment we get more leader skills, this is gonna increase effectiveness. But before that, it is very taxing to use this supporter. You need a really good roster. So let's try it out. The first thing that you want to do is probably to evade or to use Reflective Ray. Then the other skill that you didn't use, Reflective Ray or the Aqua Curtain, like this. And then Stampede. Just like that. So, yeah. I do this, I do this, I do Stampede. And I did it with the basic, but they didn't convince me that much. They weren't like busted or extremely fast. They were fast-ish, but not like a Gatling gun. So I didn't want to use them. So now I do this and I do this and... Okay, I just... And yeah, pretty easy. I mean, it is a thing, I guess, but it isn't the best option, in my opinion, for Eleanor. She just feels a little bit faster when escaping, which is nice for Eleanor. Specifically, that is the strongest thing. Even though her attacks doesn't feel excessively fast, they just feel like normal attacks when she's using this build. The ability to just evade everything by positioning faster is very good with Eleanor. Let me check. Assist. I didn't do any other assist. What about demons? All demons. I didn't do any other with demons, but I could test it with her. Let's see. Yeah, just... I gotta check. How can I get buffs with Kirara? Increase damage, increases speed. So I'm gonna put a green one. Let's see. Increase damage while active. But I don't think it's a buff. I'm gonna see if it's a buff, but I don't think it is. Increase damage. Reduce enemies' damage. Reduce the target's speed. Reduce damage taken during attack. So let's just say that I use... I want the Taimanin art if I'm going to be using basic speed. because it really enhances her gameplay. Oh, but I don't have this one. I want to use this. So I'll go with this, with Frigid Zone. Let's see if I get it in like a buff. She's blue. So I will be using this and this. Where is she? Here we go. Just because I don't have anything better. And just the synergy between these two. Because, again, if you know any other supporters that have a buff on the passive, tell me in the comments. I want to know. And who was the last character which had... I think it was Su. Let's see. Su. Do you have the fire? Yes. I actually don't need it, but I want it. So I'll put all fire. Because I'm already going to use Frigid Zone, which slows the enemy. So yeah. Well, let's test how this works, and let's use Norse outfit. the blood here. Okay, funny. So let's see just how fast this is. I already tested on blue, and blue was pretty fast. So let's see what she can do with... Yeah, her attacks feel normal at this stage. Let's see. Come on. Do I get a buff? No, I don't get a buff. So Kirara, mixed Kirara isn't the best option for Spinel, unless you're using partners which buff you in some way. Also, I don't think that Chizuru is going to be buffing, but she would be really, really busted if she was a buffer with the leader skill. I really would like to see that. Come on, let me. Let me. There. Yeah. So 1 down, 2 to go. Come on. There. So, yeah, I'm going to destroy them. There. Yeah. Well, I hope that Gremory does a good work with the leader skills. We really need them to increase the effectiveness of this supporter. So, yeah. Before we finish, I'm just going to talk about some of those supporters. Or of those characters. Like, if she gets a buff on the leader skill for all the characters, it would be very nice. She already buffed with Rose Rondo and the buff with her red build, so getting another buff would make her insanely good. Same goes for Emily. Thanks to the weapon, she can buff very well. So I hope that that's the case. Who else do you think would benefit greatly for giving buffs? There are other characters that would like to debuff the enemy, like Murasaki. Murasaki would definitely prefer to debuff the enemy with her leader skill. And Rin can give either buffs or debuffs, but I think it would be better that she give a debuff. And there's also supportive skills that we could get, like in the case of Oboro. But that's a topic for another day. So, what did you think about this supporter and weapon? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're bad? I think they're just too restrictive and focus on Spinel, which is nice. But let's very quickly analyze the supporters. This one fits perfectly for Spinel, but if you're not using a Spinel, it's a little bit rough. Maybe Lina can use it effectively, but other than that, you saw that I forced my account to use it, but not everyone is going to be able to do that. Micah, she's also niche, but she works on any character that has a good weapon active. And that's not as niche. That is, yes, it's niche because we don't have that many weapons. We do have a couple weapons, but if we take into consideration the amount, maybe it's 30% of the weapons that actually focus on the active, but most weapons focus on the passive. The new weapon for Spinel doesn't have an active. So yeah, this is more generic good than this one. This is also more generic good, but you need to be able to debuff the enemy, which you can do naturally now with Magatamas. But the more generic it is, the better. This gives critical rate, that's very good. And if you have it on the active, it also gives you damage. This is niche because it enhances familiar damage, which is not that great. But it works perfectly for her. So it's just like a Spinel. This one is skill damage increase, which is nice. It is generic good. This one is critical rate for human, also generic good, but kind of outdated for the content nowadays. This is generic good. Well, not generic good. No, 30% damage increase is generic good, but the 50 on assist is just amazing. So, Remory, start going back to those generic effects that everyone can use. Yes, you have to enhance the gameplay of that character which you're supporting with this, but if it just doesn't feel strong for everything, or at least a good amount of characters, then it's gonna be difficult for people to commit to roll for it. I really wanted to. I thought it was better, and I think that my assertion will be wrong in the future, and that this support is gonna be better because of the leader skills. But if we don't get more characters with leader skills that buff other characters, then this supporter is gonna remain bad-ish. I wouldn't say that it's super bad, but you saw how much I had to compromise, to focus in order to get builds that give me buffs and can actually benefit from the speed increase. So definitely, if you like Spinel or Lina, this is actually a pretty good supporter. So, and if you also have the butterfly weapons, that's also very useful for this supporter. And the weapon for Spinel is okay if you like to play green. That's it. It's just okay. I wouldn't say that it's. I mean, it's kind of busted because you guarantee that you're going to be critting with Boulder Quake, which is very nice thanks to the damage increase, similar to what Micah did with her weapon, but it is rough even so. So, that's about it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!